Berachos Daf Tes. The Gemara tells us a story. There were two Talmidim that came home from a wedding drunk, and they didn't say Kriya Shema. They asked Reb Shua ben Levi, the father of the Chassan, whether or not they could say Kriya Shema, even though it's the Netzach Hama. Reb Shua ben Levi says, yes, we pass like Reb Shimon bar Yochai, that in a time of a Einus, like being drunk, you could say Kriya Shema of Ma'ariv all the way till the Netz. In fact, that's the halacha. You're supposed to say Kriya Shema of Ma'ariv up until Chatzos. If that doesn't work out, you have until Amud HaShachar, and only in the case of an Einus, you could go till Netzach Hama. As in our Mishnah, we had that the sons of Reb Gamliel, they also went to a wedding, but they didn't have a Einus. They didn't come home drunk, and they asked Reb Gamliel if they could say Kriya Shema, and he said yes, up until Amud HaShachar, because they weren't sure whether or not Chachamim, who are the Rabbim, argue with their father or not. They knew their father's shita, but they weren't sure if Chachamim agree. And Reb Gamliel says, yes, Chachamim agree with me. The shir really is up until Amud HaShachar. Chachamim made a takana, siyag, say Kriya Shema before Chatzos. Reb Elazar ben Azariah has a Gzeir Shava. There's an extra word, hazeh, and he learns out that the time to eat the Korban Pesach is only up until Chatzos, whereas Rebbe Kiva holds the time to eat Korban Pesach is all the way to the morning. Rebbe Kiva learns from the word chipazon. Chipazon, he holds, is the hastiness of Klal Yisrael. When did they leave in hastiness? In the morning, so therefore you could eat the Korban Pesach till the morning. Rebbe Elazar holds that chipazon is referring to the Mitzrim. They were in a rush to get Klal Yisrael out. The Geula started by Chatzos, by Makas B'chayris. They wanted Klal Yisrael out. In reality, Klal Yisrael only left the following morning. There's a pasuk that seemingly has a three-way contradiction. It says, Sham tizbach es ha-pasach. When do you shech the Pesach? Ba'erev, which means in the afternoon. The pasuk continues and says, Kivay HaShemesh, as we learned, Uba HaShemesh, Kivay HaShemesh, referring to Shkia. And then the pasuk continues and says, Mayed Tzeis Chameretz Mitzrayim. When did Klal Yisrael leave Mitzrayim? In the morning. So which one is it? Is it the afternoon, Shkia, or the morning? Says the Gemara. The pasuk is telling us three different things. Shchita of the Korban Pesach happens in the afternoon. Eating of the Korban Pesach occurs only after Shkia. Until what point can you eat the Korban Pesach? According to Rabbi Yeshua, which is like Rabbi Kiva, you can eat it all the way to the morning. And according to Rabbi Elazar, it's until Chatzos. The Gemara now goes on to explain a few psukim. When HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Moshe Rabbeinu to tell Klal Yisrael to borrow gold and silver from the Mitzrim, the pasuk uses an interesting lashon. Daber na ba'oznei ha'am v'yishalu. What's this na? I beg of you, please. HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Moshe Rabbeinu, I don't want Avram Avinu to come to me b'tainas. I promised that the Mitzrim will enslave Klal Yisrael, and that they did. But v'achak ha'chetzi b'chush gadol didn't happen. So therefore, I beg of you that you should beg of them that they should borrow gold and silver, so that Avram Avinu doesn't have tainas. And Klal Yisrael said, we don't want to borrow. We want to leave. If we can leave, why should we wait until tomorrow? Let's leave right now. Vayashilum, with a mem at the end, says Rabami means that it happened forcefully. What happened forcefully? One shita says that the Mitzrim were forced to lend. Another shita says Klal Yisrael didn't want to borrow. They felt that it might be too heavy and they need to run away from the Mitzrim. The Mitzrim might give chase. They wanted to go lighter. And therefore they didn't want to borrow. So the Klal Yisrael was forced. Vayinatzlu es Mitzrayim, says the Gemara, that once Klal Yisrael borrowed from the Mitzrim, everything was desolate. It was as if there was a trap for an animal without a bait. Or Vayinatzlu is like Mitzula Sayam, just like in the depths of the ocean there are no fish, so too Mitzrayim had no values left. Eya asher eya. What's this double lashon? HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Moshe Rabbeinu, tell Klal Yisrael that just like I was with them now, I'll be with them in the future galus. So Moshe Rabbeinu said, Klal Yisrael has enough on their head. Why should I tell them about future galus? Says Rebbeinu Shalom, you're right. Just tell them I'll be with them. What's the double lashon by Eliyahu Hanavi? Aneni Hashem Aneni. The famous story, Eliyahu Hanavi wanted to prove the Nevei HaBaal that they are false, so he had them try to consume meat with fire from Shemaim. It didn't work, and then he begged Rebbeinu Shalom, bring a nace, bring down fire from Shemaim and consume the meat. And in fact, that's what happened. But Aneni the second time was, Klal Yisrael shouldn't think it's witchcraft. They should understand that it's Min Hashamayim. Says the Mishnah, Kriya Shema in the morning is said from when you could differentiate between Tcheles and Lavan. This is Tcheles and Lavan. That's one pshat. We had the opportunity today, the owner of Psil Tcheles came to our shir and gave us a live demonstration and he lent this to me. The Gemara says that it's the tchelas is within the lavan. If a piece of wool wasn't dyed completely, it didn't catch completely like this, when you could differentiate between the white and the blue, that's the shear. That's when you could say Kriya Shema. Rebbe Elazar says between tchelas and karsi. Karsi is a leek. So when you could differentiate between the blue and the green, that's the shear of Kriya Shema. The same shear, the Gemara brings in another way. If you could differentiate between a dog and a wolf, between a donkey and an aroid, which is a wild donkey, and Achirim say it's when you could differentiate, when you could pick out your friend or an acquaintance, an associate from 4 amos away. Up until what time could you say Kriya Shema? One sheet is until Netzach Chama. That's the Lechatchila, but the Eved could go even further. Rabbi Shua says until 3 hours Zmaniyos. In other words, you divide the day into 4. The light, that's the Machlokes in the Gra and the Magen Avram. Magen Avram says you start from Amud Shachar. The Vilna Gaon says you start from Netzach Chama. And that's when kings wake up, 3 hours into the day. The Mishnah says whoever reads Kriya Shema past this time, at least he'll be Mekayim the mitzvah d'oraisa of Limud HaTorah. Rabbi Yochanan explains what's the chiddush. He says because this person is saying it Baal Peh, and Torah Shebiksav he can't say Baal Peh, nevertheless he gets Sechar. Rav Huna says the halacha is that Kriya Shema can be said the shear of picking out your friend 4 amos away. Rabbi says no, that's only in regard to tefillin. But Kriya Shema is kivasikin. Vasikin means a type of a person that's a chassid, and a chassid would say Kriya Shema immediately before night and Davar Shmoneh Esrei right after night, because Zrizim Magdim LaMitzvahs, he wants to say Shmoneh Esrei the earliest possible time, but you have to be Soimech Gulul Tefillah, you have to put Kriya Shema right before, and therefore, in order to Mekayim everything, you have to say Kriya Shema at the last available moment, right before Nates. It says, how do we know this concept? It says, Yiru'uchem Shemesh. You should have fear right when the sun comes out. That's Kriya Shema Ol Machal Shemayim. The pasuk continues, V'lefnei Yereach Dor Dorim is talking about Mincha should not be said after Shkia. Rabbi Yosi ben Eliakim said in the name of the people in Yerushalayim that whoever says Geula right next to Tefillah won't be damaged that day. Reb Zera said he was damaged, and the Gemara says, why? Because he had a monetary loss, he had to bring Hadassim to the king. People pay money to see a king. You're supposed to see even Gentile kings, to see the difference between a Goy and a Yid king. Rab Bruna says the Gemara, he was Soimech Gula Tefillah, and he was happy the entire day, he had a smile on his face the whole day. Hashem Sfasai Tiftach that we say, the Gemara in one pshat says that we only say that in Mincha, otherwise it's a hefsek between Gula Tefillah, or like we had in the beginning of the Masechta, that since Chachamim were Keveyad in the Tefillah, it's like part of the Shmoneh Esrei, like Hashkivenu, we said it's part of the Gal Yisrael. Shmoneh Esrei is because of the 18 Kapitel Tehillim that David HaMelech had that correspond to the 18. Yir L'Ratzain is in Kapitel Yutes in the 19th. That's why we say Yir L'Ratzain after Shmoneh Esrei and not before. Have a wonderful day.